Brother Eel show during God Hours. This is the God Hour segment with Brother Izzel, the Grand Sheik for the House of Miles. Eel, welcome on this holy day, Saturn day. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I hope you all are doing well whenever this message finds you or you find this message. But it's a very, very important time, as you know. But I end up, like, what you mean it's an important time? All right, so you got the Ukrainian and Russian war, or the special military operation led by the Russians into the nation of Ukraine. And I think it's been going on for about 3 years, just as long as the regime has been in office. And the situation has escalated beyond measure, and it has the whole world stressing out. It has the whole world stressing out over it because Russia has, you know, basically a doomsday button. They got a position on the global community that warrants, you know, the global community's attention. We've watched the conduct of NATO. I've never encountered a conversation about NATO up until the whole incursion or the special military operation. Um, and the reported number is over 600,000 Ukrainians have died. I don't have the number of how many Russian soldiers or civilians casualties, but we do know it's been over 600,000 Ukrainian people have been murdered over or during the course of this Russian special military operation, including but not limited to, they have been, as of late, subject to martial law and has been deprived of an opportunity to vote for to have a constitutional election due to the so-called war, this Ukrainian war, and um, it was at a boiling point, and the Biden Harris regime has been explicit in supporting um, this endeavor, these war efforts. They have not been service and peace at all. They've been supplying the weaponry, the other military resources, as it's been reported, from intelligence um, to logistics to money, right? Other humanitarian aid for its people, um, as well as all of the NATO members. And as of late, we've seen a pattern where when the U.S. you know um, approves something, we can see everybody else approving something. As far as like France and Britain, everybody allegedly, it was reported that everybody was approving the use of special weaponry and for the point of an offensive attack with respect to a long range missiles being fired into Mother Russia territory jurisdiction, which is an escalation of an issue where these guys now have raided particular weaponry, technology, advanced technology that no one else has, a type of technology and the type of power and weaponry that can incinerate, everybody in the area. Um, and they're going to use that kind of position against whoever to protect the existence of Mother Russia. Now, and the opposition, has revealed its ugly face and has been, it Russia understands it has nuclear, that Ukrainians has nuclear power support, meaning, the United States has been identified as basically aiding and abetting the death of Russians and interfering with his operations. And so we're a target. We've been now included into a target military bases and where we build our weapon systems, and that's within certain states like Michigan where we're at. So it's like, man, come on now. So you mean to tell me we're a target, and Putin gets on TV and say, yeah, we can, yeah, we reserve the right to strike at these targets because they're legitimate targets. Um, we know that the Ukrainians don't have the technology, they don't have the personnel, they don't have the education and training to operate certain weaponry, and it does not have the satellite capacity. So it would need to use um, the U.S. satellite, the UK satellites, France satellites, etc., to guide those missiles inside of Russia till it hits its target. So it says, so basically, you guys are attacking us. I mean, that's clear. You know what I'm saying? So it's no, forget the proxies. You guys are directly engaging into attacks against Mother Russia. That's a red line. That's a war. That's a declaration of war. And we sitting here saying, no, it's not, because we don't want to go to war with the Russians. We don't want to go to war with the Iranians, the Chinese, the or any nation. Period. And if somebody is messing with us, then of course we have a right to defend ourselves. But to play a role in war and escalations of war that can lead into a global annihilation is, number one, horrific, two, irresponsible, three, we should be focused as a nation on, how to have public intervention. Uh, we need public and we the people intervention, because it's all ours, and it's our destiny, and it cannot be controlled by a singular force. That's not the great God of the universe. So we have to absolutely take a look at this, stop whatever we're doing, because you're not going to be able to do that if there's a nuclear war. You know what I'm saying? And based on the reports, is Russia has a better advantage when it comes to war than anybody else pretty much on the world, because of its nuclear power, its advanced weaponry, its skill set, its strength, its unity, its principles, its faith. Um, it's like they match up. They they match up with the U.S. Right? It's like, if you understand, like playing basketball, you got matchups. You got to guard this guy. This guy got to guard you. This your assignment. And sometimes in that matchup, you don't have the advantage. You act that the other team actually matches up with this team. So and is a dominant force in this respective field of war. It does not. The Putin said, we don't start wars, we end wars. You know what I'm saying? That's an important statement. You know, and so then I see him like they're operating on a global stage through their allies, partnerships, strategic partnership, military alignments, economic alignments. They've basically moving like the U.S. should be moving. They're strengthening their currency, etc. Um, and they just stopped purchasing the U.S. dollar, even though they declared that they love us. They said, well, we love the U.S., we love to do business with the U.S., we'll love to continue to do business with the U.S., we want to do business with the U.S., but because of its sanctions against Russia, because of its attitude towards Russia, we've been unable to really, you know, increase, intensify our relationship. And so we keep pushing Russia away. We need to be at the table with Russia, at the table with China, and doing business, putting our heads together to create um, and to create a world and an environment for the world that is productive for all nations on the earth, for all people that we share the earth with. And so we haven't been able to get that out of these wise guys and these neocons, this military industrial complex, these warmongers. And it's not a particular party. It's it's both, it's people from out of both parties in the middle, behind the scenes, people you don't see, and then they're puppets, they're proxies, they're institutions that is of the profiteers, the investors of war, the investors, and they're looking for their return on their investment. And so, um, so we got that story that we want to cover, and we got some big news that came out, some breaking news, not just big news, but it's some breaking news. And before we jump in there, um, to that breaking news, which is very important, because the second component of of the God Hour God segment with Brother Ill on the Brother Ill show is, man, we've been talking for so long about the chemtrails, the chemtrails, right? And so some reports of service that the Florida legislature introduced a bill that would put an end, right, to them, the chemtrail operation and projects being conducted and operated over Floridians. So the Floridians are aware, and their legislatures are aware, and its government is aware that um, what is being done is poisoning Floridians, poisoning Americans. All throughout the nation, we're being poisoned. And so this campaign to kill Americans of the United States of America is literally activated. It's been activated, and we're coming out of the robot stage. And I don't mean that to attack robots. What I mean that is the program is changing. We're becoming the um, we're we're gradually ascending from the hypnosis that we were put under, hundreds, 100 some years ago, that removed our memories, right? Removed the access. We removed the functions and the capacity to access our remembrance, right? You know what they call remembrance or memory. So we've been unable to get access to our consciousness with respect to our common senses, right? The common sense, the senses within us, and unable to activate and unable to operate your higher senses, right? Things that you're like, man, what's that in the air? Man, they spraying something, and you sneezing, right? Then it's sunlight everywhere. Next day you got fake clouds. So then we look up and see little, sensitive or subtle or stealth type of reports where it's reported, but it's not blown up, like so everybody can understand in clarity what is happening. So you hear about the Block Out the Sun project from Bill Gates, right? You know about you know all of the efforts to try to not only control nature or try to become the masters of it, but also where you want to harm the spirit of Mother Earth. It's an attack on the spirit of Mother Earth. So it's a poisoning of the water, the poisoning of the land, the soil, the poisoning of the air, the poisoning of the food, the poisoning of the people, the poisoning of the mind, the poisoning of the spirit. And we're sitting here unable to provide ourselves any kind of remedy, right? And because our so-called elected representative is just simply put, it's sold out. They've been bought and paid for a very long time ago, and the so-called political infrastructure is just a commercial operation, and the government has become a commercial entity. It has basically been converted from an organic constitutional nation state capacity, and has been converted over into a de facto corporate entity, right? Private entity. And the owners and the stakeholders and all these guys and girls are profiting from this corporation now in operation, and it has the it has the what's the word I'm looking for, y'all? It has like it's pretending, right? It's portraying itself as the de jure government, but you like all of its actions is contrary to the constitutional republic. Like, why would an entity that we the people established, created, ordained, you know, and it is now attacking its creator, right? It's like the crazy movies we used to watch, right? When you got this robot, you done created this robot, or you done created Frankenstein, and this thing turn and kill you. It destroys its creator, it kills its masters. It turns on it, and so that's what this artificial intelligence that we established, called the United States of America, right? And it was, that AI. It didn't. Somebody came in and reprogrammed our AI, and it has turned on us in such a stealthy way that we don't even realize it, but we seeing it, we experiencing it, we're going through it, right? We've been damaged by it day by day, year after year, and we've been saying it, but uh it's like it's no, you've been unable to, you know what I'm saying? It's like you've been unable to have a breakthrough. And now this is breakthrough material, because you're saying, well, not only are we having a living room conversation, dinner table conversation, locker room conversation, playground, park conversation. Uh, you know what I'm saying? We done went from that capacity to having the conversation in the legislature. So that means that it went from the threshold of conspiracy theory, or we didn't came out of the state of hypnosis about uh, the government affairs and its agenda to exterminate its own people. It's committing an act of genocide. It's operating a genocidal system, right? Designed to 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 make it look like a lovely apple, right? But it's bitter in its gall. So you bite into it, it's bitter in its core. You like, whoa. And but think about it. Okay, I think Flint was significant at being, exposed as a testing ground when it poisoned the water of the people of Flint. When you look at the chemtrails, well, it's poison. When you look at all of the spills in the water, I just received a letter saying our pipes, that they used the unknown material in the pipes, and they believe it causes lead poisoning, etc. Right? And so, you know, how did this happen? When we look at the federal government, FDA, CDS, CDC, NIH, USDA, all of these governmental programs, we find out the crops is being sprayed with poison, right? We find out the vaccines was a poison bioweapon. We find out that the information was bold, right, to keep you in a hypnosis. We found out that, and that we've been funding different kind of projects that will exterminate humanity, i.e., COVID-19, which allegedly killed millions of people in a lot of different ways. We coming to find out, the suicide rate, right? I'm talking about suicide rate for young adults, elders, young people. We talk about how the mental depression, the educational deprivation, which is going to stimulate all of the negatives from mental depression, economic hardships. Um, it's going to handicap a generation for generations. So, and then you talk about the ventilator machines that we was building in response to the COVID, and it was really blowing people's lungs up, right? So you got to talk about that. You got to talk about the nursing home situation that Cuomo, former governor of New York, now allegedly is going to be prosecuted over it, and it was a hoax, right? Where it was reported that the big hospital networks and the government and Kumo were in cahoots and collusion to push that executive order to push those seniors into those group homes, and they had data. Basically, they had information. That's what this whole thing. When we say criminal, when we say corruption, it's not like it's people in there and they revealed, it was transparent. They call it transparency. Say, look, this is the information that we got. This is what we think. This is how we got this information through this process. It's evidence based science. No, we don't got that. Okay, we have people, and it's not an uninformed. They can't have the scapegoat of they didn't know, right? They don't have that luxury. So that's what this whole thing is about. Like, what are you talking about, brother Ill? They were informed about the cause, the lethality, the fatality, the poisoning of the bioweapon, um, i.e., referred to as the COVID-19 vaccine. These people were informed about the impact and effect, the negative impact and effect. They knew, they always know. So they don't have the capacity to say, well, we didn't know. No, you actually would, and that's what makes it corrupt. They had the data that said, don't do it. Don't put this out there. Don't do it. They had the data. They already knew. They already knew. See, that's the information that's out. They already knew that the chemicals in the air was going to poison people on the ground. It's going to poison crops, trees, birds, bees, squirrels, other animals, humanity, nature. They already knew this. This is the point. We have evil people in uniform, in government, in a representative capacity, in institutions, in organizations, in these cooperations, in these relationships, international and domestic, that are evil, that are looking to murder, spill the blood, or claim the life force of our society, of America. They want to claim the life force of the nation. It was a small group put together that has deemed us um, free game. That these secret and covert institutions, un-American, foreign institutions, were able and also given a mandate to operate these different um, genocidal projects on the American people, unknowing to the American people and financed by the American people. So we've been financing through the taxation system, which is really unconstitutional. But in our previous state of hypnosis, um, we had no defense. If you sleep and you get attacked, how can you defend yourself? So you've been getting attacked, but you're asleep. You're unconsciously, you're unconscious of the attacker and the attack, but all you are conscious of is the results of the attack, but not the information on who's attacking you and what is attacking you. Now that you're finding out what is attacking you, you say, well, what is attacking me? The the fake food. So it's not a food, it's actually a poison sprayed by chemicals that has a technology in the chemical which will communicate to your glands or your what they call taste buds, to that sensor. It will communicate and say, well, I'm eating chips, I'm eating something sweet, sugar, I'm eating honey, right? And it gives you the illusion. It's communicating basically it's communicating disinformation to the sensor, to the tongue gland, or to the taste buds, which is a brain slash communicator that's going to communicate with the mainframe. And all of this stuff is done in an instant. And this stuff gets inside our blood and it goes to work from the inside. So now you're being destroyed and attacked from the inside. Now on the outside, the air is poison, but you still got to take the air onto the inside of the body, right? So now again, you can, so you know what I'm saying? This is a spiritual attack, and all of this stuff, all of the senses could communicate with the main frame, the brain, and so that's how we know we see with our eyes, when we see with our brains, we hear with our brains, we feel with our brains, we taste with our brains, we experience with it, and so this is the hypnosis. This is the attack on the brain through the media, televised division, the radio, right? The lowering the frequency to keep you in a hypnosis state. And then, so whether you go from the air, from the fake foods, or to the sprayed foods, right? Which is still a poison, toxic. Then you go to the air, it's poison. You go to the water, it forces you to get bottled water, right? Right. Well, so they poison the water, but then they make up trillions of dollars in profit to bottle our water that is a human right, and then sell it to you and say it's a free market. Well, wait a minute. How did the water get poisoned? Like that's I should be able to. My water should be better than anything in the store. Um, Mother Nature should be a competition for these guys. These guys shouldn't even be able to compete with Mother Nature. But what they've done is try in every effort poison Mother Nature to weaken the infrastructure of the Mother Earth and her in the spirit of Mother Earth in real time, right? From so um the clothes, the clothes we wear, the medicine we take, all poison, top to bottom, made in poison, made by poison. The dyes in the clothes is impact and effect on the skin, right? What is the impact and effect on the skin? What is the uh over time, what is the impact to the integrity of the skin and its infrastructure? The dyes in the clothes, the dyes in the juice, the dyes in the candy. Um, what else? We start to break this thing down. The chemicals in the paint. Uh, uh, we started to break everything down, and we kind of find out, hey man, you know, Robert Kennedy was right, for example. When he's talking about when they talking about, man, that's a conspiracy theory. It's not a conspiracy theory. That's real science. Why would you put this type of chemical into your products knowing that it can be fatal upon contact or consumption from a human being? And then how did this pass inspection? These products and services, this material, etc., this shouldn't have passed inspection. Not in the most powerful, wealthiest country in the world. Like, How did that make sense? So we don't got the best inspectors. We don't got the best system in the world to ensure that our water, our air, our clothes, our food, our way of life, humanity in this society is not being poisoned with our own money, with our own finances. Well, when we really start to unpack this thing, they've been coming after us since 1913 and really before that, but I want to use 1913 for right now as a significant point in history, modern history, because this is the same time two things happen. The consciousness arose of the Moorish Americans not being black, Negro, and colored. And that consciousness was founded by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali when he founded the Moorish Science Temple of America for the purpose of uplifting fallen humanity and to save the nation from the wrath of Allah, um, um, with respect to the Asiatics of North America who were of Moorish descent and have been stripped and deprived and denied of their nationality, free national descent, name, and birthrights. Two, the Federal Reserve was created, and that was the outfit cartel operators to come in and stimulate inflation by stealing our gold and silver out of the banks. They stole America's wealth through the Congress, through the government. It was all set up as a coup against the American people and the overthrow of Article 1, Section 10 of the American Constitution issued for the United States of America in 1787, ratified in 1789. So I want to use that particular history, that timeline, these timelines, um, just to show that this stuff that we was in a serious hypnosis. We was in a serious hypnosis. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, who was born in 1886, January 8th, 1886, and passed forms in 1929, the same year of the Wall Street crash, and that's the initiation of the bankruptcy. So by 1913, you had this Federal Reserve and you had the Moors on the scene, and this was significant because the Moors and this because the Moors are the Aboriginal indigenous people to North, South, Central Americas, or you know what I'm saying. So this is significant. These time periods is significant because the gold and the silver comes from the land. Now, in the original in the 1700s, the end of it, 1789, 1790. George Washington, through a letter of communication with the Moroccan Empire, was saying, "Look, we just got out of this war, and we haven't had time to really set up our economy and get our commerce going on the land that that you've given us, and we haven't found any mines of gold or silver yet, right?" So in the 17th century, they was talking about gold and silver. So we move into 1913, and before 1913, or should I say before 1929, excuse me, before 1933, everybody was able to use, or gold was in the banks. Gold and silver were stored in the banks. And then you had the credit devices, the credit notes where we did business. I hit you with an IOU. You was able to go to my bank and get your just due, right? It was redeemable in gold and silver. Today, you get a check, it's not redeemable in gold and silver. It's no gold and silver into the banks, and that's because it was taken out due to the Federal Reserve, the 1913 play, the 1929 play, and then the 1933 play. And it was more plays after that. But those three particular situations, 1930, 1913, 1929, and then 1933, which is known as the depression period, the great bankruptcy of the United States, and the theft of the gold with the bank holiday. When they reopened the banks, there was no gold and silver in there. and that's when we just was printing money, and that the cause of inflation. If you look at how much, if you go to 1913, between 1913 and 19 up until the time of the Great Bankruptcy, um, the Depression, how what was the value of a quarter? What was the value of a dime? What was the value of a penny? What was the value of a dollar? Now, just remember, in etymology, dollar means silver coin, gold coin. Under Article 1, Section 10 of the Organic Constitution of 1787, money is defined as gold and silver, and this shall be the only legal tender of the United States. So, what is the Federal Reserve Note? Currently, the Federal Reserve Note is basically a poison device, another toxin. Why? Because it causes inflation. Because the gold is really a spiritual product, a spiritual byproduct in a physical form. Gold represents the sun, the silver, the moon, and it was a organic regulator. You couldn't print more paper currency, right? Substitute money. You couldn't print. You can only print as much as that as you had gold and silver to back it. So it was a regulator. Um, is what it does, and it don't it didn't allow you to be printing more than what you could cover in gold and silver, right? So um, that within itself was a checks and balance. That's a science. That's a spiritual science, right? And it's like, wow, why you think they removed the gold and silver? So they removed the real substance, the soul of our nation, the soul of our economy. That was the real substance. And then we became a substanceless society, and we had all this military might. And then came the petrodollar agreement, and which would take the oil, a physical commodity, and basically the oil would back the dollar. So if you wanted to do business with the SARS, you needed to purchase dollars to do it, to close out on deals or settlements. And that agreement stayed in intact for a very long time, which allowed us to do a lot of different things. So check out those timelines, but you really got to focus in on 1913, 1929, 1933, the impact and effect on the world all the way up to today in terms of inflation. So we've been experiencing, your grandparents used to say they can go out with 25 cents and have money left over, and take the family out with 50 cents and have money left over. So today, that's an illusion. That's the biggest illusion in the world, to think you can go out in today's society with 50 cent. Man, you can't do nothing with 50 cent. Not at all. Not today. Look how much inflation. So we've been experiencing a hyperinflation the moment that they stole the gold, and we just continue to print without any gold and silver to back it, right? And and that's the backing force became the people itself. And so the people was put into this perpetual enslavement camp, unknowing to them. And I got to go to work to do what? To pay bills. And then who get the money first? The government. And then who taxing you on the area? The government. So you're in a perpetual debt system because you back in the debt of the corporation. Another poison. So Americans, what that ultimately means is Americans are overworked, underpaid, and it's causing the country massive stress on the workforce, right? We got to get this monetary system and its issuance power back to the American people, back into the constitutional fold of government. Congress never had that authority to surrender our issuance power to a foreign entity, because that's what it is, a foreign entity. um, that is that is a parasite to we the people of the United States. So, um, you know, I know it's a lot, but You know what I'm saying? This is an adult hour. This is God hour. We're gonna break it down on God hour now. We ain't gonna, you know, have you up at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and we ain't gonna break it down. No, we're gonna break it down for you on God hour. This was what we do. You know what I'm saying? And how was happy holidays, gratitude, all praises is due to the Most High for those who celebrate. Happy holidays. Um, you know, we are moving into the right direction. We in the right direction now. Okay, because there's a spiritual awakening. There's a spiritual people. Humanity is being forced. Now, when we say force, I want you to keep this in mind. And more science, force is Allah, and Allah is love. So love is the force, right? The force is the great God Allah, and Allah is the God of love. Allah, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So keep that in mind when I say humanity is being forced to activate their super consciousness, right? We are being forced. And remember, I tell you, the force is love. So we being loved on. The universal power, the Elohim, is loving on us because Allah El is loving on us, right? So all praises is due to the Most High. Um, and we calling on the Holy Spirits, spirit of Mother Earth, the spirit of the universe, the spirit of the sun and the moon, the spirit of humanity, and the spirit of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So this is spirit talk because this is a spiritual attack. We're spiritual beings, and everything is a spiritual element. And so we gotta have a spiritual communication here, and we gotta remove the blockage from the pineal gland, that third eye. We gotta clean it up. So um, this presentation is about you know the spiritual cleansing, the detox from a spiritual level, mental, the physiology, right? It has to be activated from within. How do you detox? You get away from bad information. How do you get away from it? Because it's everywhere, right? Well, you seek the kingdom first, and everything else will be added unto you. So you're like, you clear your mind out and you focus up and you focus on what some of the things I do. I would focus on healing. I think healing it goes into not only the spiritual, political, educational, financial, right? It's everywhere when we start talking about healing, and you can activate your super conscious. So it's like, okay, I need to heal myself, and you start to figure out where you need to heal at, and that's your starting point on this journey, on your journey. And then, so you come from out of that element, and you're saying, well, I need to heal myself. I need to get healthier here. Then you in the gym, and then like you focus on eating better, and now you eating better, you focus on eating better. So now you start looking at what you eating. See how it works? And like just that quick, you come to find out, well, wait a minute, that over there is poison. I ain't eating that. And you're like, because first people start off with like, oh, I'm gonna stop eating meat, red meats, right? That's pretty much how they go. Dairy products, you know, what else? Pops, all that acid beverages and stuff like that. They start immediately getting rid of that stuff because they end up finding out that it's what? It's bad for my health, bad for my heart. And I'm trying to lose weight. I ain't trying to consume sugars, processed sugars, and stuff like that. Then they start, and when they start doing that, their minds start getting clearer, and that clarity, um, in that clarity. Hold on, y'all. I gotta get my daughter 1 second. Hold on.
Of Alzheimer's has just Johnson. I served in the Arizona State Legislature for 12 years. I was in the House for 8 of those years and in the Senate for 4 of those years. When you see a plane fly overhead, there's a trail that leaves the end of that plane, and it goes from one horizon all the way to the other as the plane flies across, and it begins to filter out and cover more and more of the sky in kind of ripples. It widens out and fills the whole sky. I mean, how could anybody think that that was the case? And then to live and to be underneath that and know that whatever is in that is falling down upon you and upon your animals and upon the earth. And I mean, it's frightening to me. And if people don't start really waking up and facing the fact that we've got people that are doing terrible things to us, and we had better wake up and fight back now. I mean, I'm the mom of 11 kids. I've got 35 grandkids. I mean, I've got a stake in this. I care about what is going to be left for my children. I care about it, and I'm extremely worried about what is going to be left to them.
These kind of linings remain for entire day. If you know, you might have observed a white powder before few months back. There was all white powder on the cars, on the road, and also people were telling what this white powder is. So, do you feel there can be any connection between these two?
The concern is off the charts about why is this happening? Why is this being allowed to be sprayed continually all over the United States, all over the world? Who is paying for this? I mean, the incidence of Alzheimer's has just skyrocketed, which evidently has to do with an accumulation of aluminum in the brain cells. I mean, I think almost every family has been touched by a member as they get older having Alzheimer's. And it's a horrible disease. And to say that, well, this just came because people drank soda pop out of aluminum cans, you know, when my father passed away with Alzheimer's and he didn't ever drink soda pop, you know, that explanation doesn't ring true with me. And so I'm wondering how much this came to me. And I just found this to be extremely interesting because we should have like 2 parts per million of aluminum in our air. And this is saying that there's 39,000 parts of aluminum. That's astronomical. Barium is high. I mean, these are way off the charts of what people should be breathing or what's coming down on them. And, you know, if people wonder why their health is deteriorating, why they're having to go to emergency rooms, why they can't breathe, you know, why they're getting Alzheimer's, this has been planned. We have elites, I don't know what you want to call them, one worlders, Illuminati, I don't know, whatever you want to call them. But with these people that don't care about the average person, they only care about themselves, their greed, their power. You know, I've heard explanations about, oh, we need to cool the planet, all this and that. But if people are up there trying to cool the planet, why do they need all this kind of stuff in it? The explanations just never have really rang very true. If they eliminate, you know, 2/3, 3/4 of us from the planet, so much for the better for them, because then they don't have so many people to have to herd around and worry about. So this is a lot what this is about. And this is very, very alarming and scary. Don't you feel better when you stand up and fight than if you crawl down in a little hole and go to sleep? You know, I mean, my gosh, people, your families are out there, children are out there, your grandchildren. I mean, you've got to do something to help.
You know, it's interesting because of the different weather modification programs. There's something like, I think, right around 32 in the continental U.S. alone going on. So the theory is that
I'm sorry about that. I was talking and the whole thing was on mute. So I'm gonna start over, y'all. But we wanted to pause for a minute for a quick commercial from Brother L. Hi, join me to start earning more money with Sophie checking and saving. You'll earn up to 4.2 percent APY and pay no account fees. Use my link to sign up, and you'll get $25 bonus, and we're going to give you up to $300 when you set up a direct deposit. So I know in this current time, we just talked about the power, the value of the money. We talked about the 1913 timeline to 1933 timeline, and it's Christmas time coming up. It's the what is it, the month of giving. So I want to, my team, we want to give you $325. This app is this Sophie checking account, saving account system is wonderful. I'm actively using it now. It shows you your credit scores. It lets you. It allows you to make those timely investments. You earning money in your savings. You got access to your money like you was on Cash App. You can send money. So all of those features are available and more. It's a ton of more features on there. Once they once you put in your information and stuff, they automatically get you, pre-approved on loans out there, business loan, personal loans, credit lines, etc. This thing is actually a nice piece of technology, and it's really kicking cash app butt. So if you need an extra $325, go on my page on Facebook. Go to my page, click the follow, click the link on my page, um, and tap in. Okay, tap in. It's available. So all you do is go to my page, click in, and it'll tell you. Prince Ravana wants you to get $325 and pay no account fees. Right? What else? Earn up to 4.2% APY, early payday, get covered up to $50, pay no account fees, claim your bonus. Deposits are insured up to 2 million through a network of participating banks. And so Sophie is here to stay. I'm looking to give you $325. All you do is go to my page, go to Prince Miles Ill on Facebook. Click the first, make sure you follow, subscribe to all of the pages there. If you got that type of time, if you don't, look, I appreciate you anyways. I'm gonna give you $325. Go there, deposit $50, download the app, start using Sophie, start building credit, get access to your financial resources that you need, um, and then put somebody else on. Let somebody else get $325. That's really where the game is at. That's about the awakening, right? That's a spiritual thing. You can, an extra $325. I think my light bill was like 100 or something, right? So half of that can go to the light bill. That's the perpetual debt system, man. I'm gonna take half of that and put it more than half and matter of fact, put the whole thing on there, man. Y'all just take the whole 325. Y'all can have it. Let me get up. Let me get up a little extra here. You know what I'm saying? I know I can get me credited. You know what I'm saying? I like to be on the credit side of things, anyways, or at least let me feel like I am, right? So, but what a responsible way to use the 325, right? Like, I'm going to pay these bills. I ain't got to worry about no bills. Or you can take that same three. Here's a better way. Actually, while we kicking it briefly on this subject, here's a better way you can use the $325 in that same app. So when they send you the money, right? They're gonna send you the money, boom, they go $300. Boom, they go your $25. And then you take the link and you send it to somebody else, and then you're gonna get another $75, and then they're gonna get $325. So you done made $400 from the download, right? So and then you set up a direct deposit. Now you done made $325. Now you send the link to your sister, your brother, your cousin, your friend, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your nephew, your son, your daughter. You send them the link, right? Now you get an extra $75 when they do the same thing. And so off rip, just by you downloading and sending to somebody else, that's $400 extra dollars that you got in your pocket. And then you might see somebody else say, "Well, hey, dog, man, you need an extra $325? Yeah, I need an extra $325. Here, download this link, dog." So that's another $75. So if you know 10 people that download the link, that go through the process, you get them $325. And each of those persons, you get $75 a head. So you still getting residual income off the power of sharing. The power of sharing. That's charity here, man. And that's what a super conscious, wealthy, powerful society does for each other. They share the knowledge. They make sure the, their people have access to the information that improves their condition. And what a way to improve a person's condition by getting them some extra dollars just by leveraging the information. Here you go. You go 325, bro. Sis, here. I know it's tight out here. It's tight for the country. The country owed $34 trillion and it owed 34 trillion plus, right? On the national debt, and the interest is like $1 trillion in interest a year. So, don't quote me on that, do your own research, but my point is it's tight. It's tight. Right. And so even with a printing press, it's tight. So we got $325 that I'm looking to hit y'all off with, man. All you got to do is go to my page. Right? Just go to my page, Prince Miles L. Okay. Let me see this. Right? It says it's going to, when you click the link, it's going to say, I want to give you, Prince Ravana wants to give you $325. You ain't gotta pay ain't no gimmicks. Man, what's the catch? What's the catch? Ain't no catch. Download, get you some money. You know what my man D-Lo say? We wake up for power plays for breakfast. You waking up Saturday morning, right? You gotta go shopping, you gotta go do all this stuff. And he like, dang, I done spend all this money. Well, look, I'm coming to give you and that's what I always do. This is what we do here at WIC, right? The Wealth Intelligence. We're looking to empower the audience. So today, audience, I appreciate you all for joining us today and having a conversation, right? And a discussion, should I say. And so, when you leave here, or even while you're here, we want to make sure that we got something for you outside of just the information. What can I activate right now? You can activate this link right now, right? And it's bigger than 325. Like I say, just you doing it and then telling your spouse to do it or the person next to you to do it, that's $400. And I do no work. It's $400. And then you got a link, and then you share the link, and then that's another 75. And if you do that 10 times, for 10 people, 10 times, let's see. Let's pull that old calculator out. So that's $750. You got 10 friends, 10 family members. That's an extra $750 plus plus your initial pot of the 400, right? That's the download and the initial share. So that's what? $400. So you done made $1,150 in no time. It might take you 25 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes. This depends on how fast your Twitter finger works, right? Sometimes you gotta use, now you got that Twitter finger, you got that Facebook finger, and you gotta put it on that AK mode. You got it's out there. You gotta put that switch on there. Right? And you go, boom. And now you got, so every 10 people, you looking at what? $750. You didn't already took this asset. So this is called asset income. So now you didn't turn this into an asset because it don't cost you no money. It's only making you money. So something like that is an asset. So that's, and then it's generating additional revenues. So that's an asset, right? That's an asset, a revenue generating asset income. Because on that same app, you're gonna take those pros, that profit, that return on investment, which was just your time, right? You're gonna take that, and then you're gonna, inside that same app, it lets you make trades, set up a trade account where you can, you can tap in on trades. So you can tap into Tesla. You can tap in on a timely fashion, timely manner. So it's basically like a brokerage account in there too. So it's features that is definitely financial a benefit, a financial benefit for those who download the link. So just go to my page, Prince Miles Eel on Facebook. Prince Miles Eel on Facebook. Go there, scroll down till you get to the link. Click the link. Click the link. Get your $325. Merry Christmas from Brother Eel at the Brother Eel Show. So let's get back on point. Um, when the sister was breaking this down, well, I think she broke it down. Okay. And she talked about, pretty much, she kind of just backed me up on what I just already said about got to get involved. Yes, they spraying poison in the air, and they telling you it's for that and for this, for that, and for this. It's for the results is poison in the people. That's the result. It's poison in people. Two, they're manipulating the weather, um, with these chemicals, this lower level technology that's in use, and that's what it is. Ultimately, is that technology. It's great for murdering people, but it's not doing anything that's beneficial for nature, right? And all these people with their insurance policies is amazing too. Like, they're able to get away with stuff. They've been able to kind of get away with stuff. Um, with these immunities and stuff like that, and insurance. Like, uh, nah, man, we got to look at what we call willful. This was willful, meaning it was intentional. There was a premeditation. This was a premeditated event. This was premeditated to murder people. And they've said this stuff. We haven't forgot. See, one thing about us, we don't forget, right? We're not stuff like that. When they stood up publicly and said, "Yeah, we have a depopulation agenda. We want to depopulate the planet." They got an agenda. They got in front of the world at the UN, and they talked about this openly. A depopulation agenda. So as the strategies of depopulation, of the depopulation agenda, become revealed to the public eye, I say that we shouldn't be acting surprised. No, why? Because they gave us a notice. They said this was what's on their mind, and it's been on their mind. They've been having meetings about the depopulation agenda of humanity in the name of climate, in the name of this, in the name of that. So these people have imposed on themselves what I believe is what they believe, this divine obligation to manage humanity. And it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing feature, because that's a hard thing to really achieve at the capacity they're trying to do it, because people just organically have this independent spirit about them. And there's something about trying to control people just rebel against, right? It have to be, people have to consent, right? If you don't have the consent of the people in law, that's called forced intercourse. You're forcing me to contract. You're forcing me to go through something which is it's called rape. And constitutionally, I'm experienced cruel and unusual punishment. The American, we the people have experienced cruel, have been injured and suffer cruel and unusual punishment, which is a constitutional amendment violation. I think it's the Eighth Amendment, right? So um, now that we gradually ascending from the hypnosis state, where now because words, words have frequency, is a power, words have the power to save or the power to destroy. Um, and so they've been using the media, the global media, um, to manipulate information, to keep us in the hypnotic state. And then it's been fatal. So you gotta take a look at that. That's why we appreciate Mr. Trump, President Trump, because he's the first person that has yielded that presidential authority to expose the fraud within our political infrastructure, the witchcraft. He said that's fake news. And they say, wait a minute, that sounds like a barbershop conversation. That sounds like me and my homeboys talking. You know, uh, you know what I'm saying? Like we didn't never see Obama get up there and say that's fake news in that way too. Like it's a certain way you need to say stuff. You don't need to make it complex. You need to make it simple because the truth is simple. Hey, that's fake news. That's a lie. You're lying. And we heard that loud and clear. And the fact that he said fake news, he was communicating with we the people in a common language, right? For the common folks to apprehend. So it was a military signal that they was bringing to an end the witchcraft in the media. It was bringing to an end the hypnosis of we the people, the psychological attack on we the people, and the people have now collectively rising to consciousness. No matter what side you think you on, the fact is you're being fully informed, whether you like it or not. You're not going to get just this narrative from this side. You're not going to get just this narrative from the other side. You're going to get what we refer to as holistic narrative. You're getting the holistic narrative. You're getting it from all sides. So you're getting the information being presented to you in full disclosure. So now that we can make a what? An informed decision for the first time in our lives. We can make a real informed decisions. We can see who is who and what is what. And it's like, dang, it's like, man, something wrong with me. And like you saying that means you don't know what's wrong with you. No, we know now what is wrong with us. Like, ain't no more, I don't know what's wrong with me. No, I know exactly what's wrong with me. We have been allowing our institutions, our governmental institutions to be taken over and invaded. What we see at the border is a byproduct of what happened to us politically, spiritually. There's been an invasion of our minds. There's been an invasion of our political infrastructure of the nation. And that way, people didn't have to wear military uniform of foreign nations invading your country. They did it in a science, in a stealth way, to where that you was cool with what was happening to you, which is why Moors, for example, in the language, we're hypersensitive in the language. So we won't say good morning, right? A lot of Moors don't, or so I shouldn't just restrict it to the Moors, but a lot of conscious minds are conscious of the words. And they, well, we don't say good morning. Why? What are we mourning about? And that's the condition that they have been successful at creating, right, in the minds, in the environment of our minds, where we okay with the genocide and then participating, being active participation, being active participants in the self genocide. And it's been on autopilot, so to speak, right? So it's an automatic. It's become customary. It's become a custom to eat poison, knowing it's a poison, and then say it's a celebration. Whoa, 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 whoa. So I made for example, I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna consume um, some apples, some bananas, avocado, right? And my man over here, like, well, I'm just kind of trying to give an illustration. So all that food we just consumed, that was the food that's been poisoned, for example. So it appears to have been food, but it's sprayed by chemicals, and it's given the appearance of food, and it comes off with a smell of food, right? And that smell goes through your nose glands, which is a sense, and it's lying to your senses, saying that it's food. And then once it get up in there, it's the Trojan horse effect. And for you all that's not familiar with the Trojan horse science, basically, I thought that was, you know, a watermelon, for example, but it wasn't. So it provided me no nutritional value, right? So it didn't improve in conditions. It actually artificial when it started robbing the body. So when it got up in there, it started going to work with all of the poison, weakening the internal infrastructure of the human body. So that's the Trojan horse effect. I thought that was a piece of chicken, milk, number one. You know what I'm saying? Milk does a body good. Well, no, it doesn't. Milk destroys the human bone structure. It compromises the bone marrow, the bone structure. It destroys and eradicates your bones. It poisons the body. It's for a baby calf. It's for an animal. You know what I'm saying? So the it's really not even rocket science. Seriously, when you start, like I say, when you want to improve, when you focus simply on health, healing, right? This will take you into all of those different areas because you automatically it generates questions. Like you're already going to go to the gym, you're going to do some kind of exercise, and you're going to say, "Well, I got to start eating right." Then it's going to cause you to investigate on what to eat, but it's going to tell you why, and then you're going to start looking at like, well, how's this food even this fake food is put? How's this stuff even getting past our institutions? So one question leads you to another, leads to an answer, which generates another question and answer, another question and answer. And you get to your super consciousness and you kind of find out the people that you've trusted the most has been the ones who've been cooking you the most. Right. And then you see the monopoly in it because or the not just the monopoly, but you see the organization, the criminal intent behind it. Because the connectivity is right. The RICO component is that well, it's getting past CDC, it's getting past FDA, it's getting past USDA, right? And it's getting past Congress, it's getting past NIH, and it got past all of these sections. Boom, 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 boom. And the whole point of the creation of these different areas was to protect the American people, right? Or the mission, right? The published mission, not the secret mission. And I get it. It's but so you look at that, you say, well, wait a minute, boom, boom, boom. How did it get past? And then now it ain't got past your senses too, your defense, your security, your army, your intelligence, your wisdom, your reasoning. That's because you've been in hypnosis. That's a psychological attack. So, right. So now you didn't realize, okay, it ain't got past all of these different borders. It ain't got into my border. Now, where are you? You at the hospital. You at the hospital. Now you going through all of their commercialized uh venue, right? And they charging you, you already know the moment you stepped in, whether by ambulance or just through the door on your own will, you know, now you getting admitted to the hospital or you going to the doctor. Now you got all they little bills that's generated, and then they send you to the pharmacist, right? So now you at the pharmacist. Now you taking these prescribed medicines that got 1 billion side effects from constipation to man, it's on the floor. And then now you addicted because the food is a drug and a poison with additives that makes you addicted, and so is the meds, and so is the cycle. And that's what we refer to as good morning, as a good morning. You happy about this process that you are not only a slave to, but you are also the financer. You've been financing this multi-trillion-dollar operation and in a state of hypnosis due to a psychological attack, constantly. All you gotta do is look at the news, right? And you can see the constant lies, the constant disinformation, and in the uniform script, because it ain't just the news, it's all of the media, um, mainstream media is a farce. It's a farce. It's a farce. It's an intelligence operation. That's what it is. Um, Unbeknown to the American people, and it's for the point of what we everything we just talked about. And the end game is just trillions of dollars of profit, unbeknown to the American people. So we up here talking about we the most mightiest nation on earth, and we'll do this and we'll do that, but yet we got foreign occupied institutions, foreign leadership, all set up to make sure that the Americans is being wiped off the planet Earth. And that's just what it is. We've been deemed um, dispendable on a world stage, in a lot of sense, war criminals. And then look at our current behavior. So there's a massive connection. Uh, well, I wouldn't say connection. I'm gonna say this. There's a massive awakening to the reality that the American people have been subjected to, and there's a will to end it. There's a will to end that reality. So let's take a look at let's move on to the next story. I think we hit home where we wanted to hit home on this situation um, out in Florida, dealing with the let's see what else we got here. Man, look at that. We talked about that. Pfizer knew their vaccine would kill. You know what I'm saying? Front page. Front page. That's what I'm saying. The what they call that, the plausible deniability. Nah, bro. It's so deep. I seen a report about a year ago or 2 years ago. I was at Republican convention and I was listening to Christina and all these people talk about the lady who was running for Secretary of State, the lady who was running for governor. We was all out there kicking it. And I talked to this gentleman, can't remember his name, but he showed me a report. And the report indicated that the CDC was debriefed about the impact and effect in the human health. All everybody was debriefed on the negative impact and effect child support, that Title 4D, whatever it's called. But child support is what they framed it or branded it as, that it will cause catastrophic destruction to the Asiatic communities of America. They had it's in congressional hearings and congressional report that they had been debriefed. They had the data, and they still went ahead with it. So I can't be surprised because I know this. It's come from patterns, come from my participation in government, in business. I know we know what the spiritual agenda is. We've been debriefed on this. We've been debriefed, right? Years ago, we've been set aside and debriefed on why we've been set aside, for what purpose, and what is our particular role in fighting this war. this information war, this spiritual war. And so we know that we've been under attack. We've been the ones spreading the word. Hey, we've been under attack. We're under attack. The food is fake. And if you check you look in my, it's not about me. It's not an episode about Brother Ill here. It's just the relevancy of it is that we've been using the media, the Facebook platform, the social media platform, to promote that we're under attack. Our health, our minds, our economy, our nation, our national identity has been stripped from us. How do we become black? Like, how do we get black and everybody else has a nationality? I would like to go to the United Nations and take my seat at the table, but am I able to do that and as a black person? Stop it, cut it out. And the United States has committed a crime against humanity because it has allowed and actively participated in the deprivation of the Moorish, the Asiatics of America rights to a nationality. That's international law. We got a right to our names and nationality. That's international law. That's justice. That's constitutional law. You can't come in front of a court or any lawful body and do business under a fraudulent name. That's fraud, right? So I can't. It's not my name. That can't be black. I'm just not. That's not a nation. Like, stop it. Cut it out. You got Chinese Americans. You got Russian Americans. You have Lebanese Americans. You have Nigerian Americans. You have Moorish Americans. You have Italian Americans. So, you got English Americans. You got Argent. And so you got British Americans. So you got, all these nationals all here in the United States. And then we all sat at the table. They're like, well, I'm black. You're like, that's not a nation, bro. What nation do you descend from? So the United States has been complicit in that through its agency in this current bureaucratic state, and has failed to recognize international law and has failed to honor the treaty agreement. So the United States has a history of not honoring its obligation. And until it does, the credibility is never going to be where it should be at. So the point of me giving that analogy is saying it is only to support the position that they always are debriefed. This stuff is not an accident. There's no, in Moorish science, according to the Holy Quran, the Moorish Science Temple of America, Circle 7, divinely prepared by the noble prophet Jur Ali, it states that there are no coincidence. Law govern all events, meaning that wasn't an accident. They knew. Pfizer knew. Pfizer knew. That's on the front page. What do it say, y'all? Pfizer knew. They're what? They knew. What the problem is, we don't know ourselves. But the enemy knows you better than you know yourself. And they are masters of distraction. That's what the marketing campaign is about. Distracting you from your original thought, your original purpose, the original quest, the original mission, the original obligation. And you, like, light years before you come into that consciousness, and before you know it, you wiped off the planet. You're like, dang, I ain't even get it, right? Because you don't know yourself. So we've been in this spiritual war losing because we don't know ourselves. But we're not destined to lose. We're destined to win. And if we wasn't, we wouldn't even be having this conversation on this God Hour time on the Brother Ill Show. Welcome. Appreciate y'all joining us for this early morning breakdown. But Pfizer knew, right? So your local government knows they're going to play dumb. They have to play dumb with you because you would, if you look at, you would be on a butt. Now we don't promote violence, political violence, and nothing else, but a lot of these people, you know, if we collectively really or continue to understand, right, was actually they've been a part to. They've been a part participating in genocide against their own people. That's like the number one crime in the world. You did this to your own people? Yes, that's what's going on, bro. So, and sis, family, they knew. So FDA knew, CDC knew. And I remember I went after these people, right? Like, what do you mean went after these people? Well, within my respective jurisdiction in the Moorish American community, I challenged the leaders because I'm a leader. I was appointed and elected Grand Sheik of Temple Number 13, Moorish Science Temple of America, during the time of war, during the time of the pandemic, this bio war that was against the people. So I was called to the forefront to defend our people within our jurisdiction, within our sphere of influence. And so we established several task forces within our ministry to be able to tackle and coalitions and cooperation in my administration to counter and to fight the war of the pandemic, the war of the misinformation, the war of pandemic regulations and shutdowns. This was an attack on our creed, on our principles, on our children, on our wives, on our family, on our infrastructure, on our businesses and economies. This was an all out assault on humanity. And so I was called and built, set aside, and developed and trained for this particular purpose at this particular time. And it's again, there is no such things as coincidences or accidents in Moorish science. It was not by accident that I had possession of the cure. The cure was zinc, calcium, potassium, manganese. The cure was vitamin D. The cure was exercise. The cure was access to information and the ability to dispense this information on a large scale. The cure was unity through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. The ability to pull the necessary scientists, gurus, experts in our jurisdiction, in our sphere of influence, together to increase the production of the health, security, healing, uh, the healing security packages that we was able to dispense to the community. Uh, and we did our particular job well within our respective sphere and jurisdiction, and and getting the intelligence out to the greater community on the health strategies because they couldn't get to the hospital and they couldn't get the medicine and all this other stuff that was going to do them no good. And we continue to be trailblazers and fighting against the regulations, which was to force mass, to force this. No, you're not going to force anything on us, and you're not going to stop our movement. So we continue to move. We continue to exercise our religious belief. We continue to engage and develop. We even develop new economies. We ended up developing coding classes, robotic classes, to counter our children not being in school. So we had to be um, innovative to create counters to the pandemic shutdown, the scandemic shutdowns. We had to counter uh, um, um, the attack on our economy. So we had to be robust. We had to be um, um, willing to look at, you know, different ways on how we were going to stabilize our economy under the pressures of the pandemic regulations, which were simple, which were unconstitutional from the beginning. The shutdowns were unconstitutional. Everything they did under the name of the scandemic was done on purpose. It was premeditated. It was pre-designed, and you can see it in its pattern of behavior and its response to the different events of the pandemic. Right? So this happened. They went into different phases of it. You can see the testing, the experimental pattern in the conduct from nations' behaviors to the media to the local government to the state government to the federal government. Everything was in sync. Everything was in sync, and uh, the truth revealers, the revealers of the light, they were censored. So all information that we had to dispense to the public at large was censored. It was shadow banned. It was blocked. It was denied in collusion with the U.S. government, state governments, etc., including the DNC and the Uni Party. And 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 these people, as an organization, collectively participated in the bio attack on humanity, and you can see it. You can see the push for the vaccine, right? And because the mandates, you had government mandates, people lost their careers, people was threatened to lose their livelihood. So Americans was forced against the law, and it's against the Constitution, no law. It was unconstitutional from the beginning. See, they hate the Constitution because it's the checks and balance. You can't do anything like that. And what was their greatest achievement was the fact that they were able to get our neighbors to turn on their neighbors. And that was done through the media, guided by the government. And all of these participating businesses opt in, the big mega corporations opted in to double down, right? So it was a collective effort on every level to attack humanity and Americans, right? And so um, from the hospitals, everybody played a significant role in poisoning Americans. Think about that. So your local council person, your mayor, your pastor. So when the pastors knew that it was baby fetal like organs used and all of this stuff and stuff like they 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 ended up they was supposed to go against, they opted in. It was amazing. How did so now we know, I like to ask a question, you know, how when this happened, we found out that they really didn't believe in the Bible. Because in the Bible, it says the herbs is for the healings of the nations in the chapter of genetics or Genesis. So I'm confused on how the congregation allowed the leadership of that church via its pastor and its administration to opt in to take money to go against the holy word, the holy scripture, the holy Bible, right? The Sun book, the book of the Sun. How did that occur in the minds and the spirit minds of the people? It only indicates the hypnosis state that the people were under, right? And the psychological attack, because our people actually thought that was the way. And I'm like, how? How did you lose faith in your Bible? How did you lose faith in your Holy Quran? How did you lose faith instantly, immediately? Immediately, I watched millions of people abandon the faith. Millions of people abandoned the faith because in the books, in the religious books, the holy books, the spiritual books, it don't take you nowhere near the decisions that we made as a faith-based nation. Let me put it to you in that type of way, right? Because whether you know you look at the political structure now, everybody's talking about putting Christianity back into the schools and putting God. The Democrats is going against God and going against. And I look at the universal principle. when your faith was tested, you abandoned your faith. You need to be repenting on your knees to truth. You need to be bowing to truth, to the glory of truth. For real, because I watch millions of people abandon their faith, misplace their faith, divert from their faith. The moment they got scared or was in fear, fear is false evidence appearing real. Education, knowledge of Christ is supposed to remove the fear because you're dealing with the Christ degree. There is no unknown, right? Allah's leading victory is sure. So if you Moorish American, you dealing with Islamism, you a Muslim, how did you not adhere to the Holy Quran and the divine teachings of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, including the Prophet's tea, the Prophet herbal package for the healing that he brought forth, right? How did we not adhere to that? How do you have Moors active, practicing, card carrying, Moorish American Muslim citizens of the United States of America, members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and you got access to the plain truth, all of the wisdom of the universe, and in the moment that you was presented with this challenge, you lost faith and fruition, meaning you stopped actively practicing these holy and divine laws of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And the prophet told you, showed you, revealed to you, taught you how to counter what was coming, because we were fully disclosed in writing. It is written that this lawful day was sure to come, right? Not just this lawful day, but he also said that the third and fourth generation was sure to come, that they was going to come into the temples with their eyes wide open, knowing the law, and that you old Moors was going to be put in the back. So it's just, this is not restrictive to the Christian, Catholics, Buddhists, atheists, or any other religious, non-religious denomination or any other particular group. My point is, how do we lose instant faith in the spirit of Mother Earth, who predates these these people? Mother Earth was put here for our benefit. And I don't have to be the one to tell you this. You know this. And I'm just speaking to the hypnosis, to the psychological attack. I'm here to let the people know that you made that decision not of your own will. You were manipulated into that. You were deceived. That's the point of this particular photo here. Pfizer knew. So you was deceived. You were deceived. That's fraud. That's fraud. So, we ain't gonna the people. No, you were frauded into a situation. You were deceived into a situation. You were tricked. You got tricked. That's why it was important that whenever you in a state of unknowing, whenever you in a state of confused or confusion, where do you go to? You go and meditate. You go within. You go to the church. You go to the temple. Where's the church? Where's the temple? Where's the mosque? Where's the holy place? Within you. You go into a space, it's quiet, it's dark, you close your eyes, you get into a lotus position or any relaxation position, non-stressful position, and you meditate. You put your thoughts on healing. You start there. If you want to use some meditation music, use the frequencies. But in silence, you can hear the great God of the universe, the universal creator. Okay? And so you can still hear the universal creator, because that's what this attack on you is about. It's an attack on God. And that's for real. That's an attack on the creator. So you're dealing with some evil forces. You're dealing with some evil energy. Okay, some negative energy that has an intent. And so you can see it. They made sure millions and millions and millions and millions of people took this vaccine. That's the part of the depopulation agenda. And look it up, people. Don't listen to me and say, you know, Brother Young has some compelling information today. No, you need to look it up. And with the intent to, with resolution in your mind and heart, because what's done in the science can be undone in the science. You can repair your DNA. I'm going out here on a limb, but the science has revealed. I studied with Dr. Africa. I've studied with Prophet Noble Jew Ali. I studied with Dr. Zebi. I studied with the ancient ancestors. Okay. And these studies have revealed that, you know, I was just looking at cocoa or coca, however you pronounce it, the real stuff, the dark chocolate stuff, the real stuff, not the milk chocolate stuff, and its ability to regenerate stem cells. So the body is a go back and study your body. You got to study yourself. You got to know your biology. You got to know the the the, the constitution, your constitution, okay, of your DNA, of your cell structure, that infrastructure, your system of operations. It's a system. So a human being is a system. You understand me? It's a system. It's a contract, but it's a system. And the system is an operation. So you have the ability to repair, regenerate, restore, and rejuvenate your DNA. But you're gonna need some help from Mother Earth and some assistance, some aid and assistance. But you got to get into the mind frame of saying, well, wait a minute, I've been tricked, I've been deceived. But instead of sitting here waiting on my time, I can be an active participant in getting this stuff out of me. Yeah. I want to get this stuff out of me. Okay. So you got to get in the game. They knew, is my point. They knew their vaccine would kill people. And this is not what I'm reporting. I'm reporting on the reports that's all over the globe right now. People are, I'm telling you, it is on the floor. It is on the floor. And we all should be, everybody should be upset. Everybody should be highly upset. But absolutely, we abandon our faith. That's what I'm concerned about. Like, how do we leave from the faith in the one? Right? It's like, how do we do that? Like, so you know there's a consequence behind that, and we're suffering that consequence right now. You have to stand up and fight. Like, you don't got no wiggle room. You can't hide. Because one, you don't got the resources to hide. You ain't built you a bunker yet, 20, 30 feet under the ground, and you got a whole operation. You out the game. You just out the game right now. You don't have to be out the game. You need to get in the game because you can't hide. You can't take the day off. You can't ignore this call. You can't send it to voicemail. You can try, but you're still going to be forced to the forefront, or you're going to forfeit your life source, your life force. So you got to look at that. Do you got a will to live? You should, right? You represent life, not Fauci. These guys represent death. Look what the headlines say. They knew. Not they just found out, or they discovered, or it was revealed later. No, they knew prior to dispensing. In fact, they knew because that stuff was already patented before a pandemic was even declared. This was an operation. They don't want to drop a bomb, a nuke over here, right? So what do? They poison your food. They poison the medicine. They create a vaccine that's all about poisoning. And it's done to us over time. So these vaccines show up later on. They don't show up right away and cause a mass panic and all this other stuff. But this stuff should be causing a massive panic. Not a panic, because that's how you die. But people should be in the streets in America, marching. People should be peacefully protesting right now. DC, snow, it don't matter. They should be at every capital all over the nation protesting this stuff right now. We lost our friends, our brothers, our sisters, our loved ones. Come on, man. Now we got to represent them well because we've been left here for a reason. We got a fight on our hands, and it's a fight that's coming to you. You don't have to go to it. That's for sure. You ain't got to deploy nowhere. You understand me? You ain't got to be deployed across the water for this one. This at your crib. It's in your house. It's sitting in your belly. It's in your veins. That's the real invasion. The border invasion, it's real, but it's another form of the distraction, or should I say, it's a representation of the invasion of your mind. This before the border can be invaded, you needed to be invaded. Your mind, your spiritual space your spiritual border had to be invaded first. Because think about it, how was they even able to get into a position? Like, how do you even get in position? How do you get past us? We got to put you to sleep first. Then we can work on the rest of the world, right? And that's why your government, the representative government, is not working in your favor because it's not your people. The government has been invaded for all these years. The House of Senate, the House of Reps, the presidency, the judicial branch, the administrative branches, the states, and it was done easy. They just simply put you to sleep, so now they can do what they want to do. All the backroom deals, all the politicians becoming multi-mega millionaires from inside traders because they got access to information. It's no different than the outfit and the operation that's running at the city of Pontiac. It's the same thing, right? When it's crazy because what makes it wild, and just crazy wild is that it's your money. Because this is what's coming out of your taxes. This is why I know taxes is illegal. So you're using my taxes to do illegal stuff. And you're doing illegal stuff to me, and you're doing it to the rest of the world. You know, let's take a look at where did taxes even come from? And is it constitutional? Let's start taking a look at this stuff. Is income tax constitutional? Is property tax constitutional? And if it's not constitutional, which we know it's not, why? Because you got a right to own property. So how can it be a property tax when I got a right to own property? Why do I have to think about this? It says that, like, for example, I started doing some research. I know it's kind of off subject, but it's going to be quick. I was like, well, you can't tax religious property. Well, how can you tax, like, if I have my property in my name? So how can you tax my property then? Because I'm religious property. Well, who created me? God. Well, that makes me religious property. So everything that I touch that's registered in my name itself is religious property. I got the name of God. I got the last name. I got the family name. Well, Il. Yeah, Il. I'm Elohim. I'm a family member of Elohim. Oh, yeah. It's God. God's. Me, I'm a descendant of the great God, Allah El. So the consciousness start to arise. Well, how are you able to tax God's people? You can't. You got a right to own property. The First Amendment, you can't even touch. You can't. So wait a minute, man. It's something not right here. You got Fourth Amendment warrant to take away my right to own property? No, I ain't seen one. Well, how did this happen? So you had to be put to sleep first. You got to be put to sleep, America. You don't even know your Constitution. Your Constitution is a religious document already. Now, does this mean the United States is a Christian country? No, I'm not saying that. But it is a nation of faith. I'm not saying that. The laws don't say that because it can't recognize an establishment of religion. First Amendment, right? Because all people under the Declaration of Independence, we hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created free and endowed with certain rights by their creator, not my creator or your creator. No, by their creator. So he got a right to practice he or she has a a right to practice the customs that were accepted by their ancient ancestors. You're not in slavery where you forced under this particular customary system or religion or culture, right? No. Under our Constitution, you're free to practice the science, customs, and culture and inheritance of your ancient ancestors. That's the law of the land. So it ain't no, it's an Islam nation. You only can practice Islamism. We don't practice slavery. We're not warring against you. We're not invading your spiritual space. We're not invaders of your spiritual space. We honor all divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you got to understand, understand that universal principle comes from an ancient people, right? We set up the world and civilization that way. We ain't gonna, force, no, it's natural law. You understand me? And so, I didn't mean to go that far off, but here in the United States, there is retribution. There's a such thing called retribution. It's referred to as justice. Whenever these principles are violated, justice then must take its course. We violated the principles of the bond of the divine covenant, of the terms and condition of the divine covenant, once we was faced with fear. Oh, COVID-19 gonna kill everybody. Huh? Now we kind of find out the actual cure, the actual alleged cure to to COVID-19 was the actual murderer, the real corporate behind it. And they said Pfizer knew. But we know they knew. Why? Because if it's something going on with me, why wouldn't I go to nature? Why wouldn't I call forth the spirit of Mother Earth, the Elohim? Why wouldn't I go to the Holy Bible? Why wouldn't I go to the Holy Koran to get my understanding? Why wouldn't I go within myself? Why wouldn't I stick to the script, especially if I've been given notice that this operation was coming down my way in my time and era? You see, we think we physical, flesh only, and we're not. The flesh got an expiration date on it. The spirit don't. So you got a mortal self and you have an immortal self. And you need to know the higher self and the lower self. Because as an immortal is dealing with the spiritual, then you would have confronted the conflict from the spiritual resolution. And what does the spirit say? What does the holy breath say? Well, what is breath? You understand me? And so when I got so-called sick, let's just say I got sick from the COVID-19, the flu-like symptoms, or whatever that bioweapon was, because I got sick. Right? What did I do to recover? What was my protocol? What was the spiritual protocol? Meditation, prayer, exercise, right? I still ran. I still got up and breathed the fresh air and got the sunlight. I got the vitamin D3, the strong stuff. I called up my herbalist, got a package put together. Called up my my uncle, and immediately to get a potion put together. Put a potion together. Pop, pop, poop, poop, poop. I had all cabinet work. All cabinet. I got all the stuff in the cabinet already. Seasoning, turmeric, ginger, garlic, Then I got the artesian alkaline natural spring water with the calcium, zinc, the potassium, and magnesium. So I got electricity. I got higher frequency supplies and food. Oh my God. Beat down COVID. Destroyed it. My body got that extra support and said, oh yeah, y'all want to come in here and play with me? Come here. And on the seventh day, I rose. Right. Each day I built strength through this process, rested, exercised, and then continue my herbal practices until my body was able to adjust itself accordingly, and it ripped it apart and destroyed it. And then I became what? Immune. Right? I became immune. Why do I need a vaccine? When this body is so magnificent, it's only because we have weakened the infrastructure of the human body, right? And committed spiritual crimes against the body. Because the spiritual crime happens in thought, not the physical act. So we got to look at what is our thoughts on, what are we thinking, who's guiding our thoughts. That's why you got to get away from that TV, tell lies to vision. The media is practicing witchcraft and lower level sorcery with the manipulation of frequencies to be able to impart disinformation into the mind, and it gets past the mind's common senses, and it starts to develop a new algorithm of that's rooted in this belief system, and it's a system, and this belief system is based in what you think perhaps is the truth, but not the actual factors. And then we put into a psychosis to where we ignore factors, mathematical factors, which will lead us to a certain truth, an undeniable, inevitable truth that God is love. And that supreme source has been loving on his people the entire time. And that due to the psychosis, the hypnosis that we have been surrendered to, and this attack being inflicted upon us, we've been disconnected from our higher self, the spiritual, the immortal us. You understand me? And we've been led to believe, because that belief again, that we're just mortals, simply mortals. No, 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 no. We call upon the spirit of Mother Earth. We call upon the spirit of the Elohim, of Allah El, to make it, to reveal to us the way. And all of a sudden we're in the laboratory in the kitchen, and we're extracting, right, from the herbs, from the leaves, from the fruits, from the skins of the fruits and the vegetables. It's healing. Right? It's like, whoa, you mean to tell me this is the automatic cure? It's not only the cure to heal the body, but it's the cure to advance the mind, the spirit, and the body. You're talking about advancement, enhancement of all of your senses, right? But guess what? They know that too. So that's why they attack you from these particular areas, because your food is supposed to be your what? Yep, you said it. Your medicine. How do we get away from this, y'all? How do we get away from the food is our medicine? What do you mean I got to go to the hospital or the pharmacist to get some medicine? That don't make sense. You're going to be dead from the time that you leave your crib to the time to get there. It's a potential you don't make it. So you mean to tell me I cannot be a first responder to my own health or my family's health right within my home jurisdiction? That's amazing. When you have the technology. What do you mean we have the technology? You are the technology. Now, that's one of the greatest secrets not told. That the human body, the mind, and all of its function is a system. It's a technology. It's an advanced technology. It's an organic biotechnology that's really has never been seen. It's never, the designer of this is wow. You understand me? So we got to come back into this is what the soup we hello Islam. We are Not mistake. We are in our super consciousness right now. We tapped in now. Now we into the super consciousness. What's the super consciousness? I am. That's the super I am. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I am a divine being manifested in human flesh. I'm the spirit man. And this body is a technology. Look at it like what we used to call a spacesuit. You know what I'm saying? Like, what movie was we watching? Was it Predators? Alien versus Predator? That's because that he really got the body suit, but it's a technology. You know what I'm saying? Your body is a it's an advanced technology, man. It's never been put together the way it's been put together for us to operate in this plane of existence, this dimension. This is a spacesuit. You understand me? And it's compatible with the sun, with the moon, with the entire solar system, right? And its operations. It's all in compatibility with our genetic makeup from a spiritual, physical, biological, all of that put together. It's all in the same accordance with the rules of the universe. The universal law is all in accordance. So, why would I go to a non-organic source to heal my body? You understand me? That's when we lost the faith. I'm not going to no doctor. I'm going to God. I'm going to God first. You understand me? I'm going directly to God. It's a problem. I'm going to God. I'm going to pray. I'm going to meditate. I'm not. I've learned. Sorry about that. I've learned that it's a spiritual issue, right? So it's a spiritual issue. You got to get into, into your chakras. You got to get into that meditative space, mental space. You got to seek these things. You gotta be the driver in this too, because Pfizer knew. They knew that fear would drive profits. They knew that fear would drive insane profits. They knew that. They spent billions of dollars in marketing this and planning this. And remember, they had no problem saying the Constitution was inapplicable. Like, you literally had to sue them and go to court in order to get these people into get these people off you. But then some courts was compromised, knowing dang on well you can't force Americans to wear a mask. You can't force us to do anything. It's against the law. The Article 1, Section 10, the obligations of contract. You can't force people to consent. The Fourth Amendment. You're in trouble. You can't take my right to contract away without without a warrant. So anybody that forced you to wear a mask, you can sue them right now for PTSD, psychiatric damages, mental health, all of that, financial, all of that. They should be sued, rightfully so. Your business cannot force me to your corporation does not have a right that supersedes the rights of American people, like human beings. This is a corporation. It's a fictitious entity. What you mean? I gotta wear a mask. Who is you? What are you? Every corporation and business that forced that policy, that unconstitutional policy, you have a right to sue them in claims court, in the court of equity. 1, 2. You can you have a right to go after their charter under a quo warranto action, right? A QUO warranto, WARRANTO, quo warranto action, right? Or a writ of mandamus. You can go after these people. Why? Because the Constitution is an insurance policy for we the people of the United States. I repeat, it's an insurance policy. The federal constitution and the state constitutions are insurance policies for we the people of these United States. So you can go into the claims court of Michigan or its supreme slash appellate courts. Uh, you can go to the Fed claims court against the United States. Okay, because the your insurance claim would be a constitutional claim. In the Constitution, you replace that with insurance. It's an insurance claim, right? It's an injury claim, like an auto accident. That's what these people actually are, and they are insurance claim adjusters, the judges, the attorneys, district attorney, etc. Their job is to investigate the claim, or it should have been their job, but they forfeited it. So you got to do it. So under this private administrative capacity, right? Meaning you're taking matters in your own hand, which you have a right to do. You have a right to your own defense. It's a constitutional issue now. And they violated your rights protected, guaranteed, secured by the Constitution, which is acting as an insurance policy against government when they act outside of its scope of authority and jurisdiction, which is delegated to them from the authority, which is we the people, right? And we got a signed agreement called the Constitution, oath of office. You take the oath, that's the oral, and then you got to sign your name, that's the undertaking. We got this person in this particular office under a contract that the terms and condition is enforceable in the court of claims, in the court of equity, because the people have equitable rights, beneficial, equitable interests in the law being governed accordingly, not outside of the constitutional framework that has been established. And therefore, you got a claim, right? And so Pfizer knew. So I will be suing the city of Pontiac and everybody and all of when they went to go uh they went to go its leadership, for example, declared a state of emergency under the color of law, claiming that black people with disproportionately this, that, and it. That's inflammatory and derogatory. There is no nation of black people. That's frivolous. And it was a tactic and it was a deceitful one that ushered in the capacity for those vaccines to hit our community directly first, which was a bioweapon. So these jokers, these robbers, they literally set it up that we can be murdered at a mass level, on a genocidal level. Well, they said Pfizer knew their vaccine would kill. So now I didn't forget, right? We ain't forgot about what brought us to this point. No, we took notes of that. Okay, so this person, damn, you pushing that, bro? You know that stuff is a poison. You know that stuff fake. Oh man, y'all conspiracy theory. We conspiracy theorists. Interesting. So the truth is a conspiracy theorist now. That's interesting, right? And so, but again, they knew, the people didn't know. And the witchcraft, is the lower level sorcery, was so strong that they fought against the truth. I mean, they fought against themselves, unfortunately. So yeah, it was tough. It was tough. So moving right along, um, so we got, oh look, this is another story I posted. Now, why did everybody go along with it? I mean, we informed everybody in the government that this would happen, but they ignored it. And now we know that it's even worse than that the vaccines were full of containments. So again, this being reported all over the world, y'all, that they knew. They already knew. So um I'm actually looking for
suggested that he's prepared to give up some parts of Ukraine to Russia for the time being, so long as there is a ceasefire and his country is given NATO membership. The Ukrainian president was speaking to our chief correspondent, Stuart Ramsey, in his first interview with the UK media since Donald Trump's election win. Mr. Trump has vowed to...
So, and this is like, besides the pandemic information and the poisoning of the air with the chemtrails, and the election, and all this stuff, we got to look at the biggest story. So the vaccine in this story is the two biggest stories to me, in conjunction with the money, the economy stuff. But it's like, first things first. They're talking about nuclear war. We at the front door of it. How do we stop it? Because they're talking about aiming at us. Okay. And these people are serious. So in this particular clip, President Trump reveals his influence on the world stage and how he can leverage his presidency before he even get in office. Like, he's been leveraging his capacity as the president-elect to stop the war, to stop nuclear war. And it you know, people were worried if he was going to make good on his promise due to some unlikable appointees, Zionist appointees, as they call them. But it appears, and I wouldn't even say appears, it's actually appear in fact now, because now we got the first time Zelensky. He done came out, I wouldn't say the first time, but now he done came to the table saying, you know, what you just heard. He's willing to, you know, recognize that this is over with. We done lost 600,000 people. We can lose. What he really said, I watched the whole thing. It was like an hour and some change. But he really talked about his position now. He was like, look, we know the number. They done lost 600,000 people, bro. That's a lot of people. Period. To lose one life, to me, is crazy. But to lose 600,000 people, bro, how can you sleep at night? Like, they said if the number is estimated at 180,000 Palestinians, children, women, and civilians are dead. We're not talking about the warriors of Israel, the warriors of, and I don't mean to offend anybody, the warriors of Hamas. Because I know people hate Israel. I know people hate Hamas. I know people, it's crazy out there. So I'm not a part of none of that. I'm a part of no death, no violence movement, uplift and fall in humanity. So you don't have to wonder where I stand. I stand on no violence, no death of people, bugs. I don't even step, you know what I'm saying? Like, we tried to capture a spider and release the spider outside type of situation. And that's just where I'm at, man. I'm so don't take anything and try to make it something that is not. I'm in the middle with no death, no wars, no violence. Let's sit down. Let's have a discussion. Let's respect. I'm with diplomacy. Diplomacy only. That's what I'm with. I'm with justice, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Okay. So you can't come in my house and take over. I can't come in your house and take over. That's just the bottom line. But you can cut the heat on, babe. That's just the bottom line. I don't want to kill you. I don't want you to want to kill me. Can I fight? Yes, I can fight. Will I fight? Absolutely. Right? Am I a dog? For sure. Meaning what? Fighting is not the damn first, it's not a priority. Having a conversation, love is the priority. Like, let's fight for love. Let's fight for truth. Let's fight for peace. Let's fight for freedom. Let's fight for justice. Let's fight for that's it right there. That's it, because justice is equality, fairness, right? Everybody's equal under the law. That creates one jurisdiction. That addresses the conflict of jurisdiction. That addresses the conflict of laws, right? So balance, that's peace. So that's an agreement. That's a contract. That's a trust. And this trust need to be honored though. This peace accord, this peace agreement, this establishment of recognizing two states, whatever the case may be, but people have a right to live, to exist in harmony, in peace within the environments, and within their environments, within the code and conduct of Mother Nature, the spirit of Mother Earth. Earth has rules that you must abide by, that we haven't done a good job at abiding by. We haven't been good stewards of taking care of each other. And so, regardless if you a warrior for Israel or a warrior for Hamas or a warrior for the Lebanon, a warrior for Turkey, for the Turkish people, a warrior for the Saudi peoples, the warrior for um, um, the Iranian peoples, warrior for the American people, like I expect us to be able to sit at the table as warriors, as chief, as leaders, as bosses, as men, as women, as nations, like civilized people do. And you ain't no greed over here. Look, we're gonna do things the right way. You understand me? We're gonna do things the right way. And this is the way. This is the way. I respect what you're doing, and you respect what we're doing. But ultimately, we have to respect our peoples. I think Trump speaks best to this when he talks about the sovereignty of the people. See, like when I was in court, all those years fighting and being an activist, I don't know. I ain't gonna say no. Yeah, I was advocating for my people, but being a law enforcer, and the one thing I seen was they attacked us and started to to devalue our work by calling it a sovereign movement, sovereign citizen movement. When in fact the people, the American people, is sovereign. We the people are sovereign. Like we got that. That's what the term rights is about. I got supreme dominion over myself. That's what the right to consent or not to consent. You understand me? So how like we took the term sovereignty and made it a negative term to have a negative effect and impact in the courts of jurisdiction. So it's and that is it's a deflective tool. It's a deflective tool, right? And it's a colonizing strategy because and it's witchcraft, right? Because they say, well, you're a sovereign citizen, like sovereign citizen movement. Like, what is that supposed to mean? Like, what is that supposed to indicate? That's another way to try to go around the Constitution. See, the Constitution has declared the people to be sovereign because the people itself is sovereign. The Constitution is a piece of paper that it don't give the human beings right. It merely declares the rights of the people that the government must recognize. Period. And it limits their power. They don't have no authority. They have power delegated by we call delegation of authority order. So they got power that's delegated to the government by the people. Do you work for me? I don't work for you. You work for me. Like that's the capacity. So you here to serve at the will and pleasure of the people, not convert the people to be subservient to the government's will. The government don't have a will. The government is issued a will. It can't sit there and create, no, you've been created. So therefore there's a creator, and that's we the people. So the roles has been reversed. That's witchcraft. And that's how we got into this situation. And so you got a rogue government that has been converted into a corporate entity And so it has no allegiance to the people. It's operating in a de facto capacity. That's why. That's why you know you looking like, dang, how can this be done by our own government? Well, it's not your government. It's a corporate entity working in the interest of its investors and stakeholders. It's bondholders, and it has a mandate to attack the American people and divide them. And it has accomplished, been for the most part, it's done a great job. And why we over here distracted, it's been used as a vehicle of conquest, of illegal occupations all over the planet. At least that's what's been reported. And so the MAGA movement was about the restoration of the constitutional republic, the original organic contract, which generated the Constitution of 1787, issued to and for the United States of America, i.e., North America, and what was saying 1787, and ratified in 1789. And the first nation, I always got to make sure we add this, that recognized that was the Moroccan nation, the Moorish American, via the Moorish American Treaty Agreement of 1787, which included agreements, further arrangements and agreements with the other Muslim nations within our Moorish Empire. Okay, Algiers, Tunis, Tripoli, etc. Okay, and so we didn't move so far away from the organic continental United States and in the nation state, and we didn't move straight into a corporate state, right? And you're trying to get the corporation to abide by the Constitution, and it has no obligation to the Constitution. It's not bound to the Constitution. It's talking about the closest you can get is what they were talking about, the 14th Amendment. What about the first 10th Amendment that predates the 14th Amendment? We're not talking about a corporate venue. We're talking about the organic contract, Constitution, the organic people, the de jure government. Okay. We got agreements on the floor already established: Articles of Association, Articles of Confederation, Declaration of Independence, the treaty agreement to sign the deal, the issuance of the Constitution in 1787, the approval of it via Congress in 1789, and the ending of the Revolutionary War, and the beginning of the United States and its ability for us, what we was able to do to create peace. You know, the enders of war, right? We've been the enders of. I heard Russia say that. I like that. So we don't start wars, we end them, right? I like that too, right? You know what I mean? And I don't mean that in a violent situation. I mean that in a diplomatic situation, because we're strong, right? It's a peace through strength, meaning that if you come in here like a punk, then in here with sharks, you're gonna get ate alive. So you got to be strong to be at the table and in leadership at that level, sitting across from Russia, sitting across from the U.S. You got to sitting across from China. You sitting across from Turkey, sitting across. You got to be, for lack of better terms, you got to be a goon. You got to be a goon up there. But you got to be an intelligent. You got to be intelligent. You got to be a craftsman. There's got to be some crafty work being done, because it's a lot on the table. It's a lot that's in rotation. And like they say, ain't no good guys versus bad guys. No. It's goons at this table that will do whatever is necessary in the interest of the people, of their people that they represent, in the interest, in their political interests, etc. When it comes to interest, it's goon. They don't, you know what I'm saying? That 600,000 Ukrainians is dead. 180,000 Palestinian children and women is dead. Period. And it's more reports. We just did a report on Aleppo, a little town, Aleppo, uh, Syrian rebels, then took over the town of Aleppo with the assistance of the Turkish government. And on the outside looking in, it looked like, damn, why would Turkey do something like that? I know the Syrians pushing back some things going on with Israel over there too. And it was a lot of people saying that the president of Turkey was a traitor, he was a Zionist, etc. I started to dig a little deeper and kind of find out Turkey got the largest population of Syrian refugees, and they're calling the Assad government a regime and displaced all these people. And Turkey has taken a large, uh, they got the largest population of Syrian refugees, and they've been getting big backlash, like here in the U.S. about the illegal immigration, the border crisis, right? And they saying it's messing up their social security system, their housing, everything, and citizens are complaining. They've been the objects of attacks. The Syrian refugees has been the objects of attacks and everything. And so when they was talking about the government of the Turkish government responded to the rebels taking control of Aleppo. They said that it was a limited operation. I thought that was interesting. They didn't deny it. They were saying it was a limited operation, and that the president basically said that this was a good thing because this accelerates the deportation. You know what I'm saying? Basically getting the Syrian refugees out of their country back to their home country. So basically, this was a deportation operation. And they said that these people that the Assad regime has to, man, y'all got to get y'all people, man. You can't just disband these people, make these people homeless, and then we got to suffer and take, not suffer, but I'm not saying suffer like that, but I'm saying suffer like, well, we got to feed them, host them, house them, clean them. They competing for jobs. The people, the interest, the political interest, his interest is that he's like, we're gonna remove this guy. And we can't get on. We taking care of everybody else. We can't even take care of our own people. So the Donald Trump mentality is everywhere. They try to make it seem like the world is on their schedule when it's not. The world is saying, man, enough is enough. Everybody got to go home. Excuse me, let me take a stretch. We've been at it for a minute, but everybody got to go home. And everybody got to clean up and take care of their own people, man. All that, these regimes, y'all coming in, these different dynasties, and it's amazing because Russia responded saying that Turkey was violating the agreement with this attack, and that Assad has every right to take back that area by whatever means, blah blah blah. I don't know. After I dig into that story, I gotta say Russia's on the wrong side of that, but I'm pretty sure it's all about their political interests, their national interest in the Syrian regime. But based on the reports, I gotta say that Turkey's right on this one. If these are the Syrian people's organic land area that they supposed to live at. This they ancestral land, and they've been displaced, dog. Nah, you got to take your people back to the crib, man. And you got to respect their governance. That's what this is about. You got to respect their governance. We got to coexist in this world. Okay, the time of bullying is over. The time of we're just gonna murder you and ethnic cleansing is over. You can't. That's an international humanitarian law violation. You're gonna be hanged. And I'm not promoting violence. I'm not promoting hanging people. I'm not promoting death, murder, kill. However, I am in the marketing accountability. You got to be held accountable because this stuff is not by accident. This is premeditated movement, military actions, etc., etc., etc. That's being uncovered and reported. So it's no different than the Ukrainian-Russian situation. And Russia say they went up in there because of the fact that, you know, they was doing ethnic cleansing over there. That's what Russia reported. They was murdering people, violating the Minsk Accords. These people was Russian speaking people. They were trying to force people into speaking only Ukrainian. There's a whole history surrounding this conflict. And there's a history with us too involved into it. It's amazing. Like when you really start doing your homework on the United States, the wars that has went on for centuries, and you start going backwards in time, you will be amazed. It's amazing, actually. So Trump has been working. He just had the Canadian president pull up, or prime minister. He got all the world leaders coming to Mar-a-Lago, calling in, checking in, and pulling up. I mean, this guy, this spirit is just, it's a blessing to be, to see that they understand where we at as a people, as a nation. We can't afford to be going to war and supporting war. We can't afford to create peace, though. We can't afford, because we don't have to tell people that we big and bad. We don't got to do that. We've already done that. We big and bad, as far as the military, we don't got to do that. We've accomplished that. And we big and bad due to our economy. Like, a lot of these countries is very little countries. And what we can do as a friend, as a partner, in helping revive, innovate, and rebuild these countries, and these countries become partners, right? And we become an asset to people versus becoming like bullies. And we have an interest, a financial interest, a cultural interest. It just could be so amazing the work that we can do as the United States Constitutional Republic when we get back. But we can't do anything for anybody if we won't do it for ourselves. And in order to hurt somebody else, we got to be willing to hurt ourselves. And that's been the case, is that, we've been, financing our own demise. We've been murdering ourselves. And good morning. It's like, no, Grand Rise, Islamism, namaste, and like, we gotta, in my opinion, be sensitive, hypersensitive with the words we choose, because in the beginning there was the word, right? And the word was God, and the word was with God. So we got to understand that words, reveal the secret of our heart. And the nearest place you can meet the universal creator is in the heart. I know they want to say heaven. And I got to be heaven, right? You understand me? Because heaven means happiness. And that's generated from the internal joy. And that internal joy is the divine source, which is within you. And so the divine source is love. So, we got to be that nation of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and that beacon of hope and guidance for the rest of the world. And we shouldn't be letting other nations beat us to that calling, right? To be the peacemakers, to be the brokers of peace. You know what I'm saying? We should be the best at creating peace, because peace creates prosperity, right? Perpetual happiness. You know what I'm saying? That's what peace do. It'd be a lasting peace. So in this video clip, we see that, Trump and his impact and effect on Zelensky and Russia, right? I got both of those reports. You know what I mean? So
end the war in Ukraine and boasted that he could do so within 24 hours of coming to power. Well, in a moment, we'll speak live to Stuart Ramsey in Kyiv, as well as getting international reaction. But first, let's hear what President Zelensky had to say.
Well, one alternative, perhaps, again, this is reported from the United States, and it's fairly simple, really, is that Ukraine joins NATO, but Russia takes control and keeps the land that it has to date. Would that be a possibility?
Ніхто не пропонував нам бути в НАТО.
No one has offered us to be in NATO with just one part or another part of Ukraine.
Щоб закінчити гарячу стадію.
That's for once.
Факт.
the fact is that it is a solution to stop the hot stage of the war, because we can just give the NATO membership to the part of Ukraine that is under our control.
Факт, можна було б, ніхто не пропонував.
Yes, it could be possible, but no one offered.
Треба робити.
But the invitation must be given to Ukraine within its internationally recognized border.
Ви не можете давати тільки частині.
You can't give invitation to just one part of a country. Why? Because thus you would recognize that Ukraine is only that territory of Ukraine. The other one is Russia.
Тому я і сказав, юридично ми не маємо права.
So legally, by law, we have no right to recognize the occupied territory as territory of Russia.
І тут не можна помилятися.
And here we must not make any mistake.
Гарячу стадію війни.
But if we want to stop the hot stage of the war,
зонтик, umbrella,
we should take under NATO umbrella the territory of Ukraine that we have under our control.
швидко. А далі
That's what we need to do fast. And then Ukraine can get back the other part of its territory diplomatically.
Ось що я сказав. Що таку пропозицію
So, and no one has ever offered that to us officially.
не запропонував. Юридично.
We can't, by law, recognize our territory, Ukrainian territory, under occupation of Russia as Russian. That is impossible. That is against the constitution of Ukraine.
Конституцію України.
I understand completely your position. It is interesting, though, because it seems to me you have moved to a point that if you could get your NATO membership, you would have accept that we could be moving into a ceasefire and potential talks, peace talks. And at some point in the future, you would consider diplomatically how to get your land back. That's quite a big step, because you're never going to accept that it's Russia's, but as you say, physically, they will hold it. But it could bring the war to a close.
A lot of different countries proposed a ceasefire. So the question is, ceasefire where? That is a question. The second point is, if we speak ceasefire, guarantees that Putin will not come back.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, I commented you about NATO. Yes, NATO immediately the part of Ukraine. And we need it very much. Otherwise, he will come back. Otherwise, how we can go to ceasefire?
Mm-hmm.
So it's very, very, for us, it's very dangerous. That's what I meant.
All right, all right. So you can see, I had my screen kind of froze a little bit there. So you can see his position right now is okay. Look, let's come to the negotiating table. But some of that is definitely, as we would say, as they would say in slang, cap. Like, so what is cap? You know what I'm saying? Cap is frivolous. That's a court term, frivolous. What was frivolous was the part about the NATO membership, like being in NATO. It's not going to happen. That was like one of the pivotal things that activated Russia's special military operation. So you got to know about the history of that situation to kind of understand what I'm talking about. But basically, that was a no-go with Putin. Period. But now Putin, though, also, if I'm able to find it, as you can see, U.S. President-elect Trump is considering lifting sanctions on Russia for peace deal with Ukraine. Donald Trump know how to negotiate. But it was I also want to find my clip. I don't know if I got it, but I know I got it. 'Cause I look for it. But you can see what Putin said about Donald Trump. Even
who work
Trudeau,
so well with
the prime
Donald
minister
Trump,
at Mar-a-Lago.
when he makes statements like that, he plans on carrying them out. There's no question about it. Our responsibility is to point out that in this way, he would be actually not just harming.
So whether it's Trudeau, the president, prime minister of Canada, the Mexican president, the Russian president, the Ukrainian president, the UK leadership, right? These already we've seen, the effect of President Trump. So you got to know the whole time that he was campaigning and he's doing these big rallies, the whole world was watching. Like literally all the leaders of the nations were watching. So they watched him campaign and tell the world. So what Donald Trump was doing is not just disclosing to us, but he was telling the whole world's leadership, oh no, this was what's about to happen. So he was signaling to all of the military leaders, all of the nation's leaders. He said, nah, man, I was serious. This election was stolen. This is lawfare. This is election interference. This is actually an overthrow of our constitutional republic under the disguise of U.S. democracy, which was an agenda to export our wealth to the rest of the world and then import poverty, death, and misery, division, and hate. You're like, what do you mean make America great again? Make America spiritually inclined, develop its emotional intelligence, rebuild the infrastructure of our economy, get out of all these crazy trade deals that does nothing but subvert us to make us enslaved to the world. Get out of these international conflicts that ain't got nothing to do with American prosperity. Nothing. We got to fix stuff at the crib. The lights is about to be cut off. We 34 trillion in debt. We ran by the Federal Reserve Bank. They're determining our destiny. Our system is polluted and corrupt. He's telling the rest of the world, you are hereby giving notice of the global bankruptcy that kept the elites in control of the destiny of American patriots, the sovereignty of America, with respect to the United States of America, is hereby restored. The people is going to determine the destiny of America, of the United States, not nobody else. We didn't elect the people at the UN. Well, I didn't elect you. What are you talking about? I ain't elect the prime minister. I got nothing to do with what happens in the borders inside of Canada unless that issue starts to overflow and impact and affect negatively the American people or unjustly its own people. Hey, what are we talking about here? So the whole time, while we thinking that Donald Trump is just talking to us, he's not. He's talking to France. He's talking to Macron. He's talking to the head of NATO. He's talking to Germany. He's talking to Iran president, their supreme leadership. He's talking to Israel. He's talking to the planet and saying enough is enough. It got to stop. It's going to stop. It's going to stop. It's going to stop. You've pledged your allegiance to some unknown entity that represents the death and destruction of the planet Earth. No. This is madness. Men are women, women are men. Hey, stop. You're attacking the children. And it's not just known amongst me and my team and the people, the conscious people of our community. No, President Putin was just on there talking about it. He said, man, look what they're doing to their own children. Their domestic policies is to attack the spirit of their children. You got to think about that for a minute. They told us that the rest of the world didn't respect Trump. I can't tell. They're at Mar-a-Lago right now. Not only do they respect Trump, they revere him. They've never seen what he just was able to do. They've never seen it done. They know that in third world countries, they killed the opposition, bro. They silenced they've been successful at doing it. It was not able to be done here in the United States. They were not successful. Donald Trump overcame something that has never been done before. In the spirit of justice. What was he talking about the whole time? Right? What was he talking about? Think about it. Think about what the words, and then look at the actions of his former administration. What were they doing? Creating peace. Being the best at creating peace. Man, they've been fighting for 1,000 years for what? Man, bring them to the table, fighting over land. Hey, man, we dividing that land up. This yours, we good. What do y'all need to build a coexistence? I mean, it wasn't no bullying involved, but we got to stop the wars, though. We got to stop people from dying. If you look at the statistics, what's being reported right now on the life of nations, all the nations has a pattern of showing that the nation itself is dying. Got the one pilot China policies, you got the abortion policies of the United States. The nations are dying. That's why you got 78-year-olds in office, 80-year-olds in office. That's why. That's why you have that. The nation that shows the nation that shows that the nation is dying. That's what it shows. The data shows that we got to stop going down the path and the course that we on, right? It's like, slow down, man. Slow the car down, bro. Where we going? Where we going, man? Slow down. Slow the car down. Where we going? Where are we going? Where are we going? We going to the funeral this weekend? Whose funeral is it now? What's going on? Where are we going? Come on, man. We moving around in a scanty way like life is 60 years. What are you talking about? That's a baby. Right? I'm getting old. Who put that in your head? You know what I'm saying? That's the psychosis. That's the hypnosis. That's the hypnosis right now. We're under hypnosis. So Donald Trump, I love him because he said that's fake news. He was breaking the hypnosis. We started laughing. We like, wow, you heard that? Yeah, I heard it. Yeah, you my baby for that one. What? Yeah, that's fake news. That's what we've been screaming at the dang on TV for forever. Man, that's fake news, man. These people will have you in your mind where you live at. They'll have you in your mind scared to move across the world, scared to go and see the world. Because all they promote to you is a certain image, a certain vision, right? That's what we mean by tell lies of vision. We get somewhere and be like, wow, this place is beautiful. But if I was letting the news make my decisions for me, I would have never came here. I would have never had this experience. So that's called fake news. What they're promoting 100% of the time, it either inspire you to go into a direction or scare the heck out of you not to even have that experience. So who is it that has that kind of control over the minds of the people? Should nobody have that type of control over our minds but our faith, right? It's like nothing should have control over your divinity. Your higher senses say, man, something ain't right about that. Let's do some further investigation into this situation, this development. Kind of find out the whole world respects Trump to a degree, right? And based on what's being reported and their statements following, not only the election victory, but his activity and diplomacy from Mar-a-Lago. I mean, President Vladimir Putin acknowledged that Trump so hardcore. It was crazy. Like, look, man, what Trump had to go through, and I'll play it for you, but I'm just, he's saying this guy is incredible, and I'm going to give him an opportunity to lay it out on the table, to put some on the table for peace. I'm going to reserve an opportunity to demonstrate peace with President Trump, and they're trying to stop Trump from gaining from getting in the office by starting a war. This is a false flag. This is a false flag. And the promotion is that Russia's doing this, escalation when it's really them, and it's being exposed. He coming out saying, "Look, we want peace. We want to deal with peace. We love Trump. Let's give Trump an opportunity for peace. We don't want to." And now his report said, "Hey, he told Zelensky, we're going to stop all." They said we're going to stop all security packages to Ukraine. You know what I'm saying? So there's been other reports, multiple reports like the one we just seen, where Zelensky not coming out. Look, man, all right, we could just get to the table or figure something out because this, we losing, we lost. Hey, we losing, we lost. And what it is we seeing the byproduct of the shadow work that the president and his team is doing, right? And what the American people voted for. We voted for peace. We gave him the populace because we was looking for peace. We like, look, we can't nobody do nothing with no nuclear wars. There's no winners. Donald Trump says Russia and China are not enemies, and the United States will get along great with them when he is president. What does that signal to the leadership of China? What does that signal to Russia and BRICS? There's a new sheriff in town. Let's get back to the table. We all being heads of states. Let's get back to the table and let's make the world great again. Let's make the world about the people again. I heard Donald Trump's speech to the international community. I heard exactly what he said, and it's what I just told you. The people are sovereign. The people control. And that's what it is. And all this elites and y'all gonna, we're not doing that. It's about the people. Putin even called out Ukrainians and said, why are you all even following and serving for this guy when he's not even a legitimate president? They haven't even had no elections to even vote for who they want to represent the Ukrainian people. So, let's not, play the game like we don't understand that people are aware of the political abuses, the craziness that's happening at the higher levels in our unconsciousness. Let me see if I can find that report. You see these Christians. This is yeah. So it's movement. These guys, man, the instigators of war. Let me see. Iran suspends plan to strike Israel following Donald Trump's election victory. NYT reports Iran is now applying restraint to give Trump a chance to see whether he can end the Gaza war and contain Netanyahu. So, again, these reports, they out there. They like, well, look, since Trump is promised peace to his people, and his people voted for peace, let's give peace an opportunity. Isn't that amazing, America? when you wake up this morning knowing that you got a president that's saying, no, we will have peace. Come on now. Now for all the negative people out there saying this, that, and the other, think about this. It's being reported in real time by leaderships of other nations actively engaged in international conflict, declaring peace because of Trump. We're going to give peace we're going to give peace a chance. Trump says he's the president of peace. The American people, his people voted for peace. He has a mandate of peace. So therefore he must deliver it. And the people must see that he has that ability to deliver on his promise of peace. Can he provide that service at that level? And I know what Trump told him. Trump told him, look, man, I need y'all to chill. Okay. They talking about Trump is all for himself. Well, isn't that interesting? I can imagine me being for myself when I'm calling these people saying, look, hey, they got me in for peace, man. I need y'all to chill out. What do we got to do? What we got to do, dog? Because I need them bombs to stop dropping. I need them guns. I need all this incursions. I need everybody to restore peace and stability. How can we partner together to achieve this objective? Okay. And we already know what it is. It's not rocket science. I'll take, you see what they said, it contain not you. So deal with Israel and what they got going on. We'll pull it back. We'll stop doing what we're doing. But the Palestinian people, what's happening to the people in Gaza, the Palestinian, and the other areas, that got to stop. Those hostages got to be released. The hostages on both sides got to be released. We got to come to the negotiation table that we can cope. All that stuff. What is? I'm gonna leave it to the president to give us the rest of the disclosure. But if I'm in that position, I'm saying this too. I'm saying, no, y'all chill, you chill, because when we do all this 85% funding and supporting this team over here, we're gonna stop all of that immediately. That's the first. We're gonna halt this. Y'all halt y'all, and what? Come on, let me see what y'all got, because this is what we got. And we're gonna create a world where we all can coexist. Our cultures, our faith, all of that can coexist. But we got to do right by our people. We can't allow customs to alter the nature of truth. That's just the bottom line. The agenda is love. The mandate is love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. We have to do right by our people first. And if you're not a government of the people, we don't even recognize you. We can't recognize you. You got to be a government of the people. The people must govern and make decisions determinations when it comes to their destiny. So I really can't find it's like I'm not going to be able to. Oh, here it is.
Are amazed not by the fact that absolutely uncivilized, well, probably just like me, you are amazed not by the fact that absolutely uncivilized means had been used against Trump, all the way up to assassination attempts, numerous assassination attempts. And I think he's not safe even now. The history of the United States has known many cases, but I think President Trump is a smart person and a cautious one, I hope. But what amazed me most, that in fighting him, not only Trump was subjected to humiliating court procedures, accusations, and so on, but his family was attacked as well. His children was attacked. Gangsters don't do this in Russia. When criminal gangs fight, they don't touch children and women. It's men who fight among themselves. But those guys stooped as low as that. I think this is so. This looks so bad that it only reconfirms how low the political system of the United States has fallen.
So yeah, I be forgetting I take the mute button off, so forgive me. But as you can see, it's a very important time. We're going to continue to cover these types of story and get the information out, um, from a Moorish perspective. And we appreciate the audience. And again, I want to always be able to give you guys something. I love giving away great opportunities to give you guys an extra $325 for the holidays. And it could be more. It could be more. Here's how. What you would do is you would simply go to my page, Prince Miles L, on Facebook. And you will go on my page. You will go find this little post here you see right here, right? And I'm going to post another one. And it's my link. It's right there. It's an invite link. You're going to do that. Why? Because you're going to start earning more money with SoFi, checking, and savings. It's just like the Cash App, but 20 times better, in my opinion. You will earn up to 4.2% APY and pay no account fees. So this is not a bill I'm putting on you. You ain't got to worry. This is 100% asset. This is the kind of herb, right? It's an herb. I forgot which one it is, but that requires no energy from your body to activate its properties. And this is the one right here, right? Like this don't require you to put no money up, or you got to spend some money in some kind of fee just to make some money. No, not in this case. All you gotta do is use my link to sign up, and you will get a $25 bonus, up to $300 when you set up a direct deposit. Excuse me. So you set up your direct. First of all, you download the link, you add your little money on, $50. You get $25 when you set up your banking account, right? Your savings and checking. Then we're gonna give you another $300 when you set up your direct deposit. Then you can take your link and say, tell your wife, your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, your grandparents, your son, your friends, your client list, your network. You say, hey, they go an extra $325 for you too. You spread the word, send them the link. And then what happens is we're going to give you another $75 per person that download and go through the same process. So initially you're looking at $325 plus one extra person to get them $325. You get an extra $75. That's $400. And if you repeat that process, let's say 10 times, well, 10 times $75, man, you up. you up. You do that another 10 times, and then they do it 10 times. And everybody is making money for the holidays. What a way to get some money back, right? Or increase your revenues and your profits for the holidays, and you can spend more money into the economy. You can buy more gifts for Christmas. You can pay a couple extra bills, right? And it's like no effort. It's the coolest, one of the coolest devices out for you to generate, or should I say, one of the coolest assets out. It takes you no energy, costs you no money, maybe a few minutes of your time. Download, and the features, it just can't be matched. So inside of this Sophie app, you have the ability to set up a brokerage account, so you can be investing in timely trades, technology. It's a no-brainer. Take your money, invest into what? Technology. Invest in the AI, invest in the technology. It's the number one industry in the world that is producing the most multi-millionaires right now. So just through this Sophie or SoFi checkings and savings app, what happens is that you're able to do business online like Cash App. You're able to send money, receive money. You're able to have a virtual debit card added to your wallet. You're also able to make investments. You got the banking, and you making some money, right, off your saving, 4.2%, right? And you sharing the wealth, and you making money from sharing the wealth. Man, listen, you adding this to your portfolio is a game changer. What a reason why you should go to WIC TV on YouTube and subscribe to our webpage, to our YouTube page right now. And then when you leave there, you should go to rumble.com and go to WIC TV Network and subscribe there too. And don't stop there. Go to www.brotherl.com and subscribe there too, because we're going to continue to produce and furnish and report on real stories that impact us and provide real resources that produces asset. Well, that's an asset for you because it's going to put some more money in your pocket, right? And who doesn't need to increase their revenues right now? Fighting inflation. You got all this debt, and the bills are still rolling in. What a counter. Takes no energy. Go to my page on Facebook, Prince Miles Ill. Download the invite link. Set up your account. Get an extra $325, and then share the wealth. And each time that you want to share the wealth, right? Because sharing is caring, and let that be the gift. Sharing. Somebody else get $325, and then you get $75, right? And then now you're on. You keep making this money. Everybody's generating. So I can buy more gifts. Happy holidays from the Brother Ill Show. We appreciate everybody. Continue to stay safe and aware, and have a productive day and weekend. Peace.